Hello guys, this is Joyce from Enjoy Scrappin' 2, and today I'll be doing some Copic coloring. I'll be using this cardstock from Papertemptress.com. This is a Copic coloring cardstock. This is called Cryogen Iridescent Cardstock, and it has a slight iridescence on this. Not too much, it's very subtle, and this is supposed to be a really good cardstock for Copic markers. I personally have never used this before, but I have heard of them. I normally use either the Nina Solar White or the Copic Express Set, but it's always fun to try out different cardstock so that we can have more options. So I stamped out this image. This is from the La La Land Crafts Marcy stamp. I believe it's called Little Devil Marcy, and Halloween is right around the corner, so I decided to color her. So I won't be making anything with this today, but I will eventually, and I'll share it with you guys. So like I mentioned, this is the first time I'm using this cardstock. So in the beginning, I kind of wanted to test it a little bit. So I am starting with my skin first. I normally like to start with the skin. And here I'm using my favorite skin color tones, which is E11, E21, E00, and E000. This is my favorite skin combination. And here I'm using the E21, and I'm going to put some shadows. And I'm kind of testing out the cardstock since each cardstock kind of behaves a little bit differently. So I wanted to kind of try. So I'm not putting my darkest color yet. So I'm using E21 and then blend it a little bit out with E00 and then blend the entire thing out with my E000. I personally like to start with my darkest first, but you can color however way you're comfortable with. And here I'm giving her some, I made a little lines for her nose, just to give a little bit more definition to her nose. And now, as you can see, I'm putting in my dark color, which is the E11, around where I want my darkest to be. And then I'll go over that a little bit with the E21, and then E00, and then E000. I like to color my skin a little bit on the darker side. I like that look. I think it gives a lot of depth, so I like to color skin tones like this. So she has a little bit of her legs showing there, and I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring the skin. And I go back and forth, back and forth. You don't want to work in one area for a very long time because the cardstock may get oversaturated and it will bleed a little bit. So it's good to kind of move around. And I like to add the dark colors little by little because you can always add more, but it's kind of hard to take it away. So now I'm giving her some cheeks with R20. And these types of images are really fun to color because they have a large head, so it's fun to color the hair and the skin. So I really like the way these this cardstock is blending. I feel like the color is more, it stays more on the top, so it blends easier. So it doesn't soak into the paper as fast. So then you can do the blending. Now I'm going to do my the hair, and my favorite brown tone hair combination is E59, E57, and E55. And again, I started with my darkest and then with my medium, and then I'll color over it like this with my E55. I like to leave a little bit of the white for the hair, but that's again personal preference. Some people like to color it in entirely. Some people like to leave some white areas. And that really depends on how you like to color. So unfortunately, the coloring of this image, the entire coloring process didn't get recorded because it got cut off in the middle. My camera died, and you noticed that it was dead, and so that was the coloring of the clothing. And then I come back and finish it off. So again, I'm starting with my darkest, and you want to go with the flow of the hair, so that kind of makes it look more realistic. So as you can see here, I'm kind of curling the ends because her hair kind of flips out. And as you can see, it's okay to go ahead and move around your images. So I finished coloring the hair, and this is where it gets cut off. And I'm using uh, reds for her clothes, and I'm using E59, E27, and E24. This is again my favorite red combo. And for the clothes, as you can see, there's a lot of ruffles, so you want to kind of find that area where it goes under and goes over. I really can't explain it too well, but then that's going to give you the more depth and for the clothing. So you can make it look like it's actually ruffled. So of course it depends on how you like to color. This is how I like to color. And so if you guys like to see more of Copic colorings like this, go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll do more coloring. But something like this image, it takes a long time to color it. It takes me actually several hours to get it exactly the way I want it. So you want to use a good quality cardstock because I think it really matters at the end because of the colors are so much more vibrant and rich. But that's my opinion. Again, I'm not like Copic expert or anything like that. This is just the way I prefer to color. And now I'm trying out, this is a Shinhan Touch Twin brush markers. It behaves just like Copic markers and it blends really well, and the tips are very similar to Copic brushes. It's a little bit softer, and I love these markers just as much as I love Copics. And so I'm trying this out, and I really love this cardstock. It blends really easily because, like I said, I think it sits on top of the paper a little bit longer. So you have that time to do the blending. So I'm doing the tip to tip method because I didn't have the medium color. But you can see right there, it kind of bled out a little bit. That's why you don't want to overwork one area because it can bleed out. But you can try to push that color back in with the colorless blender, or you can go over it using your white gel pen. And that's probably what I'm going to do. So now that we kind of finished coloring the dress, as you can see that it kind of looks like it's ruffled, her dress. So I really like that. Now I'm coloring her boots. Her boots are going to be really dark gray. I didn't want to make it black, but I do want to make it dark. So I'm using C9, C7, and C5. And later on, I will put some little details using the black. So again, I started with my darkest, and you want to kind of figure out where you want your lightest to be and where you want your darkest to be. Like in this case, her legs are kind of pointing inward, but I'm giving the shadows at the back of her boots. So sometimes it's fun to just sit there and color. I have a lot of these images colored, which I never made into cards because I love coloring, and so I can just sit there all day and color images. So I'm just adding some finishing touches here for her shoes. At one point, I was collecting these images, so I do have quite a bit, and so it's fun to bring it out once in a while and just color. So I'm just giving her some ground to stand on. I'm not quite sure exactly what I want to do with this piece, but I did want to kind of finish it up as far as the coloring. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. And this cardstock is fantastic for Copic markers. As you can see, the colors are very vivid and vibrant. And I think that's what makes the difference with the cardstock. So I thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye.